Right, welcome back to the channel. So this week's video ahead of Ironman Portugal, we're going to do a Q&A. We put a question box out on Instagram and we've got some questions to answer. So for anyone new to the channel, I'm Laura, this is Gaz.
Hi, I'm Gaz. This is my first Q&A on Laura's Instagram.
And we are both 4 days out from Ironman Portugal. So we're going out there on Thursday. It's currently Tuesday today, so we're both tapering and we've got a lot of time on our hands. So we thought we could
Scary.
film Q&A. So we'll get straight into it because we've got quite a few questions.
I don't know any of these questions.
You don't know any of the questions.
She's hidden them.
There's none that'll trick you out, or that'll try and catch you out. So
Hero's washing himself.
Can we not just go to sleep? You're fine. Okay.
Both the dogs have decided that they're going to wash themselves during this Q&A. So if you hear anything random, it's not because someone's behind the camera doing that.
It's Hero. So, first question, I guess this is aimed at both of us. How do you deal with life admin, washing, food, chores, etc. when you're both deep in training for events?
Do you want me to answer?
Or we can both answer.
Shall I answer my side?
You go first and I'll answer.
I would say
that's generally how a Q&A works. You answer your side.
I'll answer my side.
Go on.
I would say we are good at timetabling who does what each day. It works quite well because some days I'll have a hard training day, so Laura will be in charge of walking the dogs and cooking tea, and then some days you'll have a hard training day and then I'll be in charge of walking the dogs and cooking tea and stuff like that. So if we can both walk the dogs and do bits together, we will, but sometimes we can't.
I think ultimately it just comes down to communication, I'm totally honest. If I'm, overwhelmed with my training, or we both work from home, work for ourselves, so we both have to be very organised anyway. Our lives are planned out in our diaries, and it's very much the same with our training, and then that sort of feeds over into just our day-to-day life. I think as well, we keep things very, very basic. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. They'll be arguing about what we're having for tea. We know every night we're having some variation of a protein source, whether that be steak or chicken sausages, it pretty much is, and we'll have potatoes or rice with that. We don't overcomplicate things. We don't overcommit to things outside. If we know we're both in a deep training block, we're not going to be then going and making loads of other social plans. I think that's the reality of it. There's going to be an element of not having very, very much balance in your life when you're training for something big. So when it comes to we've just got to do the washing, we've got to wash up and we've got to keep the house tidy, actually it's not very much to do.
No.
We don't waste time in other places, especially when you're deep into a training block.
We do keep it basic. It does help.
Our life is basic.
It does help though.
It definitely does, yeah. I think people overcomplicate things. How much does training cost for an Ironman 70.3 prep? I don't really know what that means. I guess it can be as expensive or as inexpensive as you want to make it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that we put, the vast majority of our money goes into training, doing events, and doing stuff we enjoy. Because training is probably the biggest thing we enjoy.
Yes.
Or training and racing is what we enjoy. So we build all of our year around going to events, whether it's a High Rocks event, whether it's an Ironman event. Our holidays will be around that.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at how much training is, how much does training cost for an Ironman? For us, quite a lot, because we go on, our holidays are going to Mallorca to ride a bike and stuff like that. So, but I know people that don't spend, they literally have a gym group. Pats go on the bikes in the gym group, treadmill there, and then have a swim membership somewhere. But you can do it as cheap or as expensive as you want.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it depends how much you want to invest into it. Like I says, we do invest a lot of our money into it. We've both got coaches, and I don't spend much money elsewhere other than buying bikes and buying cycling kit and things. So, but you can very much do it on a budget if you want. My very first triathlon, but it wasn't a 70.3, but I did it on it was this hybrid bike. I borrowed a helmet and sunglasses. I borrowed a tri-suit. You could probably find a generic plan online. You can keep it relatively cheap. Depends how much you want to invest into
Depends what you want.
Like,
I
suppose
we
I would
don't
always
drink.
keep it. Yeah, we don't drink. I don't like. I'm not a typical girl. I don't get my nails done. I don't do anything like that. So that's what we invest our money into. Top tips if you want to do triathlon but can't afford a coach.
You don't have to have a coach nowadays. There is thousands of like posts from people that are in positions you want to be in. Like I know loads of people that are just putting out free content all the time. Like you can pretty much scrape together what you know it needs to be. Like if it doesn't take a brain scientist to understand what you actually need to do to become a good triathlete. Most coaches are worth their weight in gold because it's not the training plan that they do. I think it's more so like keeping you accountable, being there at the end of a tough day, adapting your training program, understanding what you need, understanding your life, understanding how to manipulate your training around that. That's what a good coach is about, and that's why I would always recommend, if you can get a coach that you click with, get a coach, because I think it takes a lot of the stress off it. There's enough resources out there. If you go on like Try247 website, they've got training plans for each distance. Like you can literally take a generic plan and manipulate it around your life. Now, I'll hand over to an actual triathlon coach whose business is around that.
I think exactly what you said. There's so much like content and advice out there. You just have to be willing then to put in the work and put in the time to do that. I guess a coach does that for you and feed you the information that you need. Obviously, there's so much out there which can be overwhelming, but yeah, there is so much information out there that you can absolutely have access to, that you can go and apply to your training. I think, yeah, if you can't afford a coach, I think having someone at home who supports you, maybe holding you accountable. Like if I didn't have a coach, or even though I do have a coach, I've got Gaz to hold me accountable on days where I'm like, I can't be arsed. So maybe, having someone in your life that can hold you accountable, definitely planning ahead. So let's say, you plan your month ahead and know exactly how that month's going to look, rather than being like, oh, right, it's Wednesday today, what should I do? You just have to, take that ownership of your training, but definitely plan at least a month in advance. Work back from when your event is, and get someone to hold you accountable, even if that's your partner or a friend or whatever, who's going to be calling you out if you don't want to do your training.
100%.
Tips for increasing speed on the bike. I seem to be stuck at 26 kilometers per hour. I would say you want to go out on your bike and get lots of experience out on the roads, but I think an indoor trainer where you can really work on building your power in the saddle is hugely beneficial. I think because I think having like structured sessions that enable you to push like above your threshold and working hard, they're the ones that are going to really help you build power. And then obviously, hopefully, that power will translate over to speed when you get out on the road. So I think an indoor trainer could be really handy there, and having like structured sessions, hard sessions. You want to do easy sessions, but you want to do those sessions that make you question your life choices. They're the ones that will help you.
100%. I think as well, if you, from a biological kind of standpoint as well, if you want to actually get strong, you need to actually get strong, like single leg, to be faster. Obviously, I'm not saying you need to stop biking and just do like strength work, but there's a time and a place for strength work to ensure that you've got the power to actually push down. I think what Laura said, being on an indoor trainer, I found made me a better biker anyway, because you don't have the long downhills, you don't have the time to stop pedaling. It's just a constant hour.
Well, it's a lot. It's more of a controlled environment. So you can't. And a lot of people on the out, like when you're training outside, they focus on speed. But you could have been stuck in a traffic jam. You could have been stopped at some lights. Like all of that needs to be taken into account. So a lot of people get really fixated on that speed number, and really when you're outside, that means nothing, because it could have been a really hilly route that you did, and you're out for sometimes we'll do a hilly route and it'd be like 23 kilometers an hour, but that doesn't really matter. That's not a reflection on our power on the bike. Obviously, that's only applicable if you do the same route over and over again. If that's the case, then doing sessions on the indoor trainer. Easy ones as well. Easy wins, like getting a bike fit. Like if you're pedaling and you're not getting full extension of your leg, well, you're probably not going to be getting the full power out of your leg. So that's a really easy one. But doing sessions in a controlled environment such as a turbo are going to be helpful.
But don't get fixated on speed, and that's one thing that I would say 100%. Like
power is a better number to go off of, because if you were measuring power outside of it, takes into account things like you could be doing that again, that same route, but it could be a really windy day, so you're going to slow down. Like speed doesn't mean anything. But going back to the question, if you want to increase your speed, then yeah, I think doing some indoor.
Yeah, indoor, 100%.
Do you race based off of like power and data, or do you race off perceived effort?
I've always raced off perceived effort.
Yeah.
I've never once raced off like, I've never had a power meter. I wear a heart rate monitor, but I can get in my own head with that.
When you've been training and racing for as long as Gaz, but like I've been racing for quite a while and training for quite a while, you get very in tune with your body, and you can understand that perceived effort a lot more. But yeah, like you said, I've got a power meter now on my new bike, but I don't use it because I don't have a bike computer. I never raced on power. I wear a heart rate monitor, try not to get too fixated on it, because yeah, my heart rate can be absolutely through the roof. It's more so for the data sort of post race to look at the data. But yeah, perceived effort for me.
Yeah, I think you can get too in, like if you think, right, I know I can push 200 watts for 6 hours. If, for example, you come out the swim, you've had a really bad swim, you're all of a sudden pushing 160 watts and it's feeling really hard, your whole Ironman day is like ruined, because you're going, well, actually, I'm not pushing what I should be pushing. This day's, I'm not getting the time I want and all that kind of stuff. Whereas if you're just going to push like a RPE 8 or 9 for 5 hours, then you're like, well, actually, I know that I'm at that RPE. Doesn't necessarily matter so much. There's so many variables that play into like power and your heart rate and stuff like that, that I think, particularly on a race day, even just like race anxiety, right? If you're standing on an Ironman start line, chances are your heart rate's probably like 20% higher than what it probably would be if you woke up in the morning and stood outside your house. So like factoring all stuff like that in, I just would rather do RPA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How much do you eat on long bike rides?
Not enough.
It depends. Like if it's just like a leisurely bike ride, so there's certain rides that I would practice my fueling on. There's certain rides that we just go out and be like, oh, we'll stop at a cafe and grab a croissant or a sandwich or whatever. So yeah, certain rides we probably underfuel. But if I were doing like a race specific practice ride, I would be aiming for about 80 grams of carbs an hour, which would look like 2 Science and Sport Beta Fuel gels, or like a Beta Fuel gel and one of the Sturka bars, so that would be about 90 grams of carbs for me. So that's how mine would look. We always take sweets with us, and just like have some extras. But yeah, there's certain rides that we'll really practice fueling on, and there's certain rides where we'll just be like, I'm feeling like shit, can we stop?
Yeah, I try about 90 to 120 grams of carbs an hour. So mine's like I use the Precision Hydration 90 gram gel, so I know I just got to have one of them in the hour.
Do you have any superstitions when it comes to racing?
Not superstitions.
No, I don't think so.
Not superstitions, but I'm very...
Routines?
Yeah, no, I'm very I'm really fixated on like, I need to hit this time, I need to do this, I need to do that, and I'll really get in my own head about it. So maybe not like superstitions in the sense of like I need to put my socks on a certain way or anything like that, but more so like I have to have in my head, right, I need to be out of the swim and on the bike in an hour and 20, I need to do this and do that, and like get my head right with it all. I'm a very nervous racer.
If you hang around Gaz at the start of the race, if you're not nervous, then you will be after 10 minutes of starting with Gaz.
Yeah, it's the week before the race, not the...
But then he's so chill. When I'm racing, he's so chill. It's like, you'll be fine. When he's racing, it's like, I remember we raced High Rocks together, and I was nervous, but once I'd stood with him,
I'll get you nervous.
And he just puts me on edge. I'm like, are you okay? I'm really anxious.
I'm not okay. So now I haven't got any superstitions.
No, I don't have superstitions. I've just got routines. Like I'll always get my hair braided.
Yeah.
Like I'll have the same breakfast. Like,
that might be a superstition, because I reckon if you didn't braid your hair,
it would. I don't think it would be a superstition. It would be more like it would just really piss me off, because then it just get really matted, and you have to redo your hair in each transition. Like I wouldn't want to do that. So yeah, it would be I don't know, it just makes me race better because it's out
Yeah.
my face. Like any girl knows, you don't want your hair in your face.
Yeah, same for everyone really. I don't normally braid my hair, but
just shave it off.
I'll just shave it before the start.
What else? No, basically. I think if you get too superstitious about stuff, it just ends up like consuming, doesn't it? What is your why? Why do you do what you do? Keep up great work. So I've spoken about my why before, so I guess from my background I used to have an eating disorder, I used to be depressed and all sorts, so I guess my why is doing it for the me who couldn't do it back then, and just appreciating sort of what my body can do and how far I've come, and never want to sort of take that for granted again. That would be like the deeper meaning of my why, but I guess my other why is just I really enjoy just pushing my body and seeing what I can do, and like I don't know, I just love it. I just love it. So yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, the deeper reason, as I said, but yeah, the reason day to day is like it just makes me feel amazing, and I love nothing more than really seeing what my body can do and pushing myself to that point of questioning my life choices.
Yeah. I mean, mine's probably similar. Like I was like a little fat kid when I was at school, so I never used to be like fit, and then I joined the army and got into like running and triathlon and all that kind of stuff. And I think I always wanted to be. I don't know. It was like when I went to therapy for a bit, and when I went there, she was like, it's very much like I used triathlon and running as like my self-worth. So it was very much like I had to be winning races and all this. So everyone was like, well done, Gaz. I like a bit of praise. So everyone was like, well done, Gaz. You're a good athlete.
Gaz loves being praised, but he won't say how he feels back to you.
No, so it's like, I think that was always like the thing of like, she would always say that I used that as my self-worth and stuff like that. So mine was always, to get a little bit of praise, I guess. But also I always wanted to see how far I could go as an athlete. I had it in my head that I want to be the bloke in the gym where everyone's like going, you've seen him, he's 60, look at how fit and strong he is. I always want to be that person. So just seeing how far you can actually push your body, and also, I think it's just nice to set a standard. We both coach people as well, so I want my athletes to look and go, well, if my coach is doing that, then I should be doing that. And I want to be able to, even though I'm 36 in a few weeks, which is old, I still like coaching 25, 26-year-old people that are at the top of their game, and I like to at least be on par with them so that they know that if they've beaten me, it's like, or if you beat Gaz, you've had a good day. It sounds like a really weird why, but like, we just both love
parts. It. Yeah, I think that's ultimately what it's come down to. And I think I like what you said about setting the standard, like for athletes and just like for our families. I think it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's another one actually, because like no one in my family really, like everyone keeps fit, and same as your family, they keep fit, but no one's ever been like an athlete. Mm-hmm. So I think my whole family buzzes when they come down and watch us do anything. So they like film it and they're messaging, and my dad's putting on like amazing like posts about us saying how much we inspire them and stuff. And I think your mum and dad are exactly the same, so they love coming to watch you do it.
They've always been into sport. That's how I got into triathlon. My dad and my mum both did races. 100%. But I guess that standard is important, I think, for our athletes as well.
Yeah, and you want to make sure that they know.
They know.
Yeah. And we're going down the rabbit hole, but I don't believe that every coach needs to be at a certain standard, but I think it adds a certain dynamic if your coaches are at that standard, because it just shows that they are living and breathing exactly what they say with it. So it's nice to have that. And I think for our coached athletes, they love the fact that we're still competing at, whether it's High Rocks World Champs or Ironman World Champs in Kona. It's just nice for them to almost have I'm going to try and chase my coach a little bit, and that kind of stuff as well, which I quite like.
I always stand by that. Your coach should lead from the front. But anyway, there's a few reasons for our whys there, isn't it? How to improve recovery between sessions. We sleep.
Easy, sleep. I was chatting to someone before, they were like, how do I improve, or should I buy a massage gun? Should I be taking peptides? Should I do this? Should I do that? And I was like, everyone overlooks the basics. Eat well, sleep well, and that's your recovery done, essentially. Yeah, all right, foam rolling, a little bit of mobility work, stuff like that's going to help, but actually, like, as a baseline, sleep 8 hours a night, if you can. I know some people will have kids, but sleep as much as you possibly can, and then eat as well as you can. They're your two biggest pillars for recovery.
Yeah, I think that's how we're able to train as much as we do. If we didn't eat the way we eat and sleep as much as we do, then we wouldn't be able to train. And that's usually the first like stumbling block that any athlete comes into when if I'm coaching someone and if they're not recovering well or if they're not able to keep up with sessions, those are the first two things that we would tend to look at. And it's something that's so overlooked, and it just seems as though like everyone thinks they're trying to get as little sleep as possible, and it's not. That's something Gaz has taught. No, I've always known sleep has been important, but since Gaz and I have been together since I moved in, like we get over 8 hours every single night. And again, like obviously I know some people have kids and some people work shifts, and this is us maybe with a normal routine, but a lot of people do have normal routines and will still only sleep for 6 hours because they'll go to bed at like midnight because they've been scrolling on TikTok for 2 hours.
If you're essentially asking what's the best way to recover, is it like foam rolling, massage guns, all that kind of stuff? If your sleep and your nutrition's not nailed down, them things are irrelevant. Yeah. Like if you're coming to me going, guys, I sleep a minimum of 8.5 hours every single night, my nutrition is nailed on, then yeah, a massage gun might help. Going for a sports massage might help. Taking various different supplements might help. But ultimately, if them two bits aren't nailed down, you're not going to get any more benefit out of it.
Carb loading and fueling strategy pre and during the race. Thanks and good luck.
I get told what to eat.
You are on like 4,000 calories in the couple of days leading up to.
I'm on 4,000 calories, 600 to 700 grams of carbs a day, Thursday, Friday.
And then we race on Saturday. I'm not tracking my food at the moment. But what I will tend to do is just add like an extra 50% of carbs into each of my meals for like the 3 days leading up to it. So I don't know, usually I have 2 pieces of toast for my breakfast, I'll add in an extra one, or like usually I have around 400 grams of potatoes with my evening meal. I'll probably increase that to like near 500-600, and then I'll probably just start having like a bowl of cereal before bed, and just start adding in bits in the lead up. Obviously we're not doing any training pretty much at the moment, so that's always going to be helpful. But yeah, we always say you want to go into your race, and like how I feel right now, you just want to feel a little bit chubby.
It sounds weird, but you should be going into race day almost feeling like I really want a good training session.
Yeah.
So like whenever I go into Ironman, I'm always thinking, oh right, I'm going to go into a big training session, and I'm looking forward to it because I feel a little bit stodgy from the carbs.
Yeah.
And it's.
So yeah, if you're on to like day 3 of your carb load and you're feeling a bit chubby, then it's fine.
Because carbs like make you feel fat anyway.
Just a bit watery.
Yeah, a bit more water.
Retain water. But anyway, yeah, that's a bit off topic. But yeah, about an extra 50% of carbs. I eat the same thing every day, and especially in sort of the 2 weeks leading up to a race, my days look like exactly the same. Sort of going back to that question before, we fit everything in, just like we fit everything in because everything is so routine in our day, so we don't have to think and waste time. So because I know exactly what I have every single day and the weight of things, that's why I'm not tracking my food. But it's easy for me to be like, right, well, usually I have 250 grams of rice, I'll have whatever an extra 50% of that is, but it's easy like that. So that's how I tend to do it. Recommendations for how to train on a static spin bike until I get a turbo trainer organised. So I think it depends what spin bike it is, but I think most spin bikes do have a computer with like the power numbers on there, so you can follow power. If you're following a plan and you know the powers need to be hitting, then you can just follow the power on there. If not, then you can kind of just train based off RPE. I think.
RPE, 100%.
Obviously, with a spin bike, the resistance is different, so it doesn't feel like a bike. So it's a lot of pushing. It's not as much the pulling part of
like being
on a normal bike. So just be aware that it'll feel slightly different to a turbo or a normal bike, but yeah, and that's going back as well to the question we said before about like affordability, and you can make use of what you've got. Like, it might not be perfect, but if it's one of your first races that you're going into, like, you don't need to, obviously with the Instagram and stuff now, you can see what everyone's got, and so and so might have a turbo and a TT bike and a road bike, and you're like, shit, I've only got a spin bike at my gym. Like, make it work. Like, it's fine. You don't need to have the top end stuff. Like, it's still good training. As long as you're consistent, you don't need to have the top end of everything to start, do you?
No, 100%. And if you're a beginner, like, you don't want to buy everything, because
if
next year you go, actually, I'm done with triathlon, then you've got all this stuff to sell.
Stuck with thousands of pounds of kit.
If you're a beginner, I would 100%
being a beginner is so much fun. I think just like going off on a tangent here.
It is.
If you're a beginner, like, I'm jealous of you, because that's when you can see the most, like, the best results, the most improvement. Like, you're learning so much. Like, it's just so much fun. Like, you just get to be intrigued by it. Like, obviously it's information overload, but there's so much. It's just fun. I suppose when you did triathlon the first time and when I did my first triathlon, like, it makes it sound old, but like, social media wasn't a thing really. Like, I remember posting my post-race photo, like, unedited, here's me just like on a bike. But I think now with social media, and you see all these, a lot of influencers now are into triathlon, they've got these top end bikes because they're being sponsored by all these bike companies, and it makes you feel like shit if you're on your hybrid bike. But literally, I'll try and put a picture on the screen of my first triathlon. Like, I looked like such a novice, and it was so much fun.
It was amazing.
It's great. I had these little like glasses like this, and it would probably, if you look at the photo, it'd probably give you a bit of an ick, but.
Yeah, it probably would. Yeah.
But yeah, I was on this bike that was like up here, set up right like 100%.
This. I think most people do it on a mountain bike start. I think I did a mountain bike.
Maybe not a 70.3 on a mountain bike, but you can do.
But like you can rent most stuff. Like, if you're gonna do things like that, you can pretty much rent it as well now, can't you?
You come and say goodbye to everyone. Whoa! Sit down then. Sit down then. Sit down then.
I can sleep now straight away.
But yeah, I think that was all the questions. Final question: how are you feeling about Saturday?
I don't. Yeah.
He's on edge. I can feel it.
I am feeling a bit on edge.
He is.
I'm more excited because I was asking my friend who did it last year, to give us a little bit of an idea about what it looked like and all that kind of stuff. And he'd sent over some bits which sounded like it was an amazing course. He said it's a little bit hilly, but the road surface is amazing, the run's amazing, it's well supported. So I think I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping. I say there's no pressure, but there's always a little bit of pressure, I think. This is what we were talking about beginners. Once you've got a PB and you've done various races, there'll always be a little bit of pressure, because even though in my mind I'm like, I'd be happy with a sub 11, in my mind I'm going, well, can I just do a sub 10? I'm excited. What about you? How are you feeling for it?
I'm excited. There's no pressure for me, so I'm just excited to race on the course with you.
I think it should be exciting because we should be close together.
Yeah. I think you're, as much as you won't let it on, you're probably nervous because like so many people that you know have seen you like doing triathlon back in the day.
Yeah.
And you're probably thinking, what are they going to think? Because that's who you are. Like, you'll worry about what they think. And I'm just telling him to enjoy it and just have a great time. Yeah. And it doesn't matter. But if you want to...
It always matters.
Gaz is excited because he's forgotten how much an Ironman hurts.
That's the issue.
I've got it fresh in my mind.
Yeah, I've not. Well, I've not raced it for 8 years, so you kind of forget the pain. I think you forget the pain after a year anyway. But yeah. Thank
you for watching, and yeah, hope you enjoyed. And the next video you see will be Ironman Portugal.
Us two racing.
See who wins.
I'll do the boys one on my channel, and you do the girls one.
Place your bets who's going to win.
Yeah. Can you put a thing on? Oh my God. Someone's screaming out the window. Gaz. Someone shouted Gaz. Anyway.
Hero's on my team. Hero, who do you want to win? Heroes. Hanky, who do you want to win?
Thanks.
Who do you want to win, Danny?
Hank's been listening to this all the time. He's knackered.
Right.
See you soon.
Is that even on there?
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, goodbye.